Madam Clerk, roll call to establish a quorum.
Mayor Ricky Williams Jr.
Present.
Alderman Robert Williams.
Present.
Aaron Troya.
Present.
Thank you. Sherry Pickering.
Here.
Michael Kane.
Here.
Bob Iverson.
Here.
Rick Streeting.
Here.
Mike Ford.
Present.
Sharon McMahon.
Here.
Brenda Brown.
Present.
RJ Davis. Dan Duncan. James Bouchard.
Present.
Tom Stone.
Here.
11 present.
11 present. We do have a quorum. At this time, we received the invocation led by Alderman Brenda Brown, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let's bow our heads. Gracious and almighty God, we thank you for another day. We thank you for keeping and protecting us along the way. We ask now that you pour upon us your blessings of wisdom and discernment as we carry through this meeting of the Danville City Council. We pray that we will get things discussed and taken care of in a proper and decent order. And we pray for those with COVID, those that are sick, those that are bereaved from this virus that has just taken over. We pray that for this country, for this United States, that all goes well and peace and harmony will abide. And we pray that as we go through this meeting, we'll be mindful of it's not about us, but it's about our service to our community. These and other blessings we ask in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Can you all see the flag now? I know Mrs. Pickering said she had trouble seeing it last time.
I still can't see it, but
I don't see it.
Right in front of me.
Mrs. Beacon, Mrs. Brown, Alderman Brown, can you see it now? Right here?
yes, I said it's just still a little out of the way, but we'll play it if everyone else can see it.
Can you see it better here?
You bring it closer to you, I think I can see it better.
Okay.
Yeah,
There?
that's better. That's better.
Okay, I'll stand to the side too. That way maybe the wall will give it some. All right, let's. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. I tell you, I long for the day when we can all say that together in person again. At this time, we have the minutes from the previous meeting. Is there a motion to approve those?
Stone, so moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion or debate? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Thank you. We also have an agenda for this evening. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Alderman Streeting, so moved.
Second, Bouchard.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion or debate? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Thank you. We do have a motion. We do not have any proclamations this evening. However, we do have two appointments. The first is I would request a concurrence to appoint Steve Foster to the Vermillion Regional Airport Authority Board with the term expiration of 12/31/25. Is there a motion to do so?
Chairman Ford can move to concur.
Second.
Iverson, second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion or debate? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Thank you. I know Chairman Foster looks forward to returning to the board. The only reason he left is because he legally had to, and I think that they can use his leadership. So excited to have him rejoin the board. At this time, I would like to introduce to you, as he's walking down here to the chambers, Mr. Darren York, who I'm proposing to appoint to the Ward 7 vacancy by Mr. Foster. Mr. York is previously employed by Aunt Martha's, and he's currently a senior rehabilitation counselor with the Illinois Department of Human Services, the Division of Rehabilitation. He is also the former president of the Danville Soccer Association. He's very active in his church and in the peace marches that we've held in the community and rallies, as well as a member of the Human Relations Committee. He serves under Administrator Finch. And he is married to the lovely Barb, who is a teacher in District 118. Their oldest daughter, Emma, is in college. Luis is in high school here in the district. And his youngest daughter, Anna, is in middle school now, right? Southview Upper Elementary School. I made her a year older than I recalled. So really excited to have him join us. Is there a motion to concur with Mr. York's appointment?
Alderman Straubing, yes.
Second by McMahon.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion or debate? All those in favor, please say aye.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to say something since he's the Ward 7 alderman. I thought I should have a comment. There's some people in Ward 7 who have expressed the idea that perhaps the seat should go to someone who's not running in the next election because being elected will give them an unfair advantage. I've talked to them and said, this really is the mayor's call, and there's no reason to oppose Mr. York because he looks like he'll be a fine candidate. The only reason we'd oppose is if there was some fault with the candidate, and there's certainly not the case here. We think he's fine. It should be noted too, it's incumbents will tell you, being an incumbent is a two-edged sword. Incumbents are often defeated in the next election, so it's not necessarily giving them an advantage. I'll gladly support the mayor's choice today, and I'm also delighted to say that we have 2 deserving candidates for Ward 7 in the upcoming election.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I appreciate that. I should say that I did interview both Mr. York and Ms. Huber. Both are excellent people. I think they're a good character. I think that they both care about Danville. I found in talking to Mr. York, and I've known him for a long time actually as well, that he's a man of integrity, that he really cares. Much like some of you who it took years, I've encouraged him previously to run for office, and he hadn't before because he's had a lot of obligations with family and work and such. But now, like many of you, he has a little bit more time, and he feels like he's prepared to do it. Again, Ms. Huber is a fine person. I think she's a great candidate as well. However, in talking with both of them, I did feel like Mr. York more closely represented the folks in Ward 7, so that's why I chose him. To me, it made no sense to have just kind of a shadow or stand-in person. This would give the people of Ward 7 an opportunity to see if they like Mr. York, and if he does a good job, great. And if for some reason they decide that he's not the best person for the job, then that would be their choice. So, but I thank you for that, Vice Mayor. Any further discussion or debate? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Thank you for concurring with that appointment. Mr. York, if you would, please come forward. It's a little bit strange to do this in a mask, so please note that we are distanced and we do have our mask on as well. So please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Darren York,
I, Darren York,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and of the state of Illinois,
and of the state of
and
Illinois,
that I will, according to the best of my skill,
according to the best of my skill,
ability, and judgment,
ability, and judgment,
faithfully and impartially,
faithfully and impartially,
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
enjoined upon me
enjoined upon me
as Alderman, Ward 7,
as Alderman, Ward 7
of the city of Danville,
of the city of Danville,
county of Vermilion,
county of Vermilion,
state of Illinois,
state of Illinois,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations, sir. I'll give you an elbow bump. And I'll give you a proper salute later on. At this time, I just need you to sign both of these, and then the clerk will seal those and give you a copy. You guys will each sign one and then trade. Oh, yeah. While they're doing that, I'll just note that Mr. York will not be voting this evening. this meeting he's going to take to get acclimated. He will be voting starting next meeting now. But he wanted to be present and he wanted to see how things go. He listens to our meetings often, but hasn't attended one in a while. So he wanted to see how things go and participate before he started participating. Thank you, sir.
Tell him he signed the form. It's too late now. He can't back out.
That's right. Exactly. We'll give him just a moment to return to his area. Very good. Chairman Poor.
Yes, Mayor. I know in the past, when we had candidates running, that we would send them a packet of meetings so they could kind of know what was going on. I know now we're all electronic, but we have 2 in Ward 3, 1 in Ward 4, 1 in Ward 6, and now 2 in Ward 7, or 1 in Ward 7. Are we going to continue that practice to send them the information?
Yes, Teresa will be sending out a schedule of all the meetings as well as how to connect to those individuals.
Okay. Thank you.
Absolutely. All right, thank you. At this time, are there any reports of boards, agencies, or commissions?
Yes, Mayor, I would like to report on the MLK celebration.
Very good. Go ahead, Administrator.
The celebration, we only plan to have one event for the celebration this year because of COVID. The event will be held as normally at St. James United Methodist Church. Our speaker will be the Bishop Frank J. Bird. And at the service, we will also announce the winner of the MLK Scholarship. You know, normally we announce the winner at the banquet, but this year because of COVID, we're just going to do it at the service. The service can be live streamed, and I will send all the city council members the link for the live streaming. But the mayor, you of course will be at the service. Also, the program can be viewed on St. James' Facebook page. Any questions about the event?
And we will also, Administrator Finch is going to be sending out a release to the media too. That way we can make sure the public knows how to view the event. And we will also put that on my Facebook page as well as our other, as well as the city page as well.
Yes, that's all I have to report. You know, again, we're looking forward to having everything back in place next year.
Thank you. I hope so. That would be a good thing for sure. Any questions or comments for Administrator Finch? All right, thank you very much. Are there any other reports of boards, agencies, or commissions? Any other reports of boards, agencies, or commissions? Seeing none, items of information, a couple of things. One, as you will see, we did finish the Harrison Street project downtown, and that looks really good. When you drive from there, it doesn't matter what direction you're coming from. It almost looks like you're in one of the big cities like Boston or something. That's what someone said to me anyways. So I want to congratulate Engineer Cole, Manager Kronk, Director Carpenter, also Mr. Rui on all the great work that you all did to make that happen, and also our partners. We appreciate them so much for the good work that they did. Mr. Ribby, they did a fine job for the citizens of Danville. So if you haven't had a chance to go to and go by and check it out. Also want to thank again all the folks from Public Works who were involved in lighting up downtown for us this year. The people loved it and they did a fantastic job. So thank you very much for that. I also have some good news to share with you this evening, and I will actually let Manager Kronk share that with you.
Oh, putting me on the spot. Thanks, Mayor. Right before Christmas break, we got news from the Illinois Department of Housing Authority. We applied for a grant. It's called the Stronger Communities Program for a max cap of $175,000. And we were actually awarded the full grant for $175,000, all to be allocated for demolitions of properties around the city of Danville.
Oh, thank you, Logan. That's fantastic news. You all know that we have a lot of houses you have to tear down, so I just want to say thank you. That was a very last minute thing. I saw it one day and I said, hey, Logan, can we do this? He had a couple of days, he and his team, to get it together. So thanks to you and Natasha for putting that together and for all of your great work. I know the citizens of Danville will certainly appreciate it. So All right. At this time, we will receive the petitions, communications, and audience comments, and I do believe that we have two.
Yes, we do, Mayor. First, we have Cindy Parr Barrett of Danville regarding COVID-19.
The coronavirus numbers are getting worse every day in Danville and Vermilion County. Our own health department cannot keep up with the numbers. Contact tracing is not being completed. The virus is spreading more rapidly just as the vaccine is arriving. I know firsthand just how contagious this virus is. That's how myself and several family members spent the Christmas holiday. It seriously is like playing Russian roulette with your family and friends. You don't know who is going to get hit or how lethal the blow will be. It affects everyone differently, and until you get it, you will not know what that is going to be. Long-term effects are unknown. Watching the somewhat viral video of the December 15th City Council meeting was appalling. The display on Facebook from elected officials blatantly encouraging defiance against state guidelines and mandates is irresponsible. One person's rights end where someone else's begin. We are a community and we need to look out for one another. I am for businesses being open. I want life to go back to a more normal pace, but these things must be done in a manner that ensures the safety for all of our citizens. Children need to be back in school. Residents in nursing homes need visitors. People need to be with their sick or injured loved ones in the hospital. Individuals need to work to pay their bills. These things cannot happen when the focus is being placed on keeping businesses open without messaging of how to do so safely. The approach needs to be proactive, not reactive. We need to encourage innovation, adaptation, and change into our dialogues when looking to the future. We are so close, but yet so far from this pandemic being over. Perseverance is key at this juncture. As our elected officials, please use your platforms and voices wisely. Thank you, Cindy Parr Barrett, 404 West Winter.
Next, I have Nancy O'Kane regarding trash and toters.
Good evening, Alderman and staff. My reason for this letter is to address the issue of trash and toters. As a past member of Keep Vermilion County Beautiful and a past environmental inspector, I feel I have some expertise and perspective on the issue. Currently, the toters are being abused and used improperly. They're overflowing, garbage is not contained in bags, the toters have no lids, and it's become such a problem that the trash is everywhere. I understand the toters are no longer under warranty. The no lid issue should have been addressed citywide before this occurred. Now that it has, what is our game plan? Who is addressing the issue of trash? I pick up in my neighborhood several times a week, but mostly as the toters sit out without lids and loose garbage. As I see it, this issue could be addressed by those who collect the garbage. I am most certain they see the offenders and jotting down an address, using a phone recorder for addresses, or having an auxiliary ride with the collectors for a week, as this is usually habitual, with a letter sent with a copy of our brochure, and the next step of a violation is a start. As of now, we are doing nothing, and this is unacceptable. Many need a seconded toter, but I understand the cost, so the very minimum should be contained in garbage bags and letters sent. An inspector, unless in the neighborhood on collection day, is not going to see the issue, but does see the aftermath, and that part of it should be addressed. Trash in neighborhoods gives the appearance of an uncaring and permissible society that permeates the many issues we are seeing in our neighborhoods. Again, unacceptable. I'm asking and pleading that you form a plan over the winter to address this issue in the spring to promote cleaner neighborhoods. I also feel the street sweepers would be much better served in the neighborhoods that have the trash issues. Aldermen and neighborhood groups can help with this. I understand the primary reason for street sweepers is not trash collection, but the improvement in a neighborhood is amazing with just a mere pass of a street sweeper. I ask to consider this when setting a schedule in the spring. Thank you for your time and would appreciate a response to my request. I have copied by Alderman. Nancy O'Kane, 111 Cronkite, Danville, 61832.
That's all we have.
All righty, thank you, Madam Clerk. At this time, we don't have any zoning petitions. However, we do have two items for you. Item 9 is the approval of payrolls from the December 18th, 23rd, and 31st of last month. Is there a motion to approve those?
Alderman Streben, approve.
Stone, second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion or debate? Roll call vote, please.
Alderman O'Kane,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Streben,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
McMahon,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Davis, Duncan, Bouchard,
Yes.
Stone,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Troya,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
11 yes.
11 yes, the motion carries. Before I move on, there's an item that I forgot that I need to mention to you all. Alderman Davis is not with us this evening because he is not well. I don't believe it's COVID, but we haven't heard anything for certain. So please make sure you remember Alderman RJ Davis in your prayers, just to make sure that God will heal him and restore him, okay? Thank you. Item 10 are the approval of the vouchers payable. We have the vouchers payable from December 22nd and January 5th, as well as a special run from December 16th. Is there a motion to approve those?
Brown.
Moved by Alderman Brown. Seconded. I'm sorry, who was the second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Pickering. Any discussion or debate?
Mayor, I would just like to say, or you don't have to roll your screen now to be able to see them. They come up. When they come out there, you can read them.
What's that, Chairman Core?
The payables, you can now read. You know, usually you had to rotate your screen. Now they're where you don't have to do that. So that's really nice.
Oh, nice. Good. Thank you, Comptroller, for that. Roll call vote, please.
Vice Mayor Iverson,
Yes.
Alderman Strebe,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
McMahon,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Davis, Duncan, Richard,
Yes.
Stone,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Troya,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
11 yes.
11 yes, the motion carries. At this time, we will receive the Public Works Committee report. Chairman Core.
Thank you, Mayor. We will meet on City TV next Tuesday, 6 o'clock. That's all I have, unless Carl has something.
I'd just like to report that we had a couple small events with snow. As you all know, we had a little ice on New Year's Day and then some snow on Sunday. Used a minimal amount of salt. Our salt shed is still full, so we're doing good, and just hold our fingers crossed that we won't get a lot of snow, but it happened like it did in the past couple years, a holiday and a Sunday this year. So you'll see some overtime next week. That's all I've got.
Mayor, that will conclude our report.
Thanks, Director. Thank you, Chairman. At this time, we will receive the Public Services Committee report for the first time. Chairman McMahon.
Oh, well, thank you.
You're
Let's see if we
welcome.
can muddle through this, huh? Okay, if it pleases the council, I'd like to take item A and B. Resolution says they both refer to the Community Development Block Grants. And I would move for their approval.
So moved. Second.
Okay, anybody have any questions?
Yeah, this is Alderman Strebe. This is different than the money that we were talking about. They just received at the last minute.
Unfortunately, it's not, Vice Chairman, and I'll allow Manager Cronk to answer that.
Yeah, so we approved this at council several months ago, and I think HUD is just now getting around to looking at the actual plan amendments that we made. And they're mandating that we move the funds that we previously passed out of our current 2020 action plan and push them back to our 2019 action plan. And that's due to the fact that our round one COVID funds were in the 19 action plan. So they're trying to keep them all bunched up together. No changes in monetary amounts or how we're going to spend it. I just need a resolution of support to resubmit to HUD. So hopefully we can get these COVID funds soon.
I have a question. Is this going to cause any more problems for you like we had before and not being able to spend the money in a appropriate and fast manner?
No, even with these funds included, we've already exceeded our timeliness report.
Okay, thank you.
Vice Chairman.
I have a question to Logan. This doesn't include anything with the grant on Laura Lee, does it? I looked at the figures. It doesn't include that, does it?
No,
Okay.
That money is already set aside for public facilities and well on its way.
Right. Thought it was, just thought I'd ask to be for sure. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Alderman Brown. Any further discussion or debate? Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Strebe,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
McMahon,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Davis, Duncan, Pashard,
Yes.
Stone,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Troya,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
11 yes.
11 yes, the motion carries.
Okay, and then we have item C, D, and E. If we can take those together, they all have to do with the budget. So I would move for their approval.
This is Alderman Strebe. I'll make the motion. We approve the three together.
I'll second that.
It's been moved by Chairman McMahon and seconded by Vice Chairman Strebe.
Yeah, are there any questions?
Does
Roll,
that include the changing of the one item out of the sewer fund? Of the home rule tax, is that included in there?
No, that's in item
That's
G.
later?
Yeah,
Okay,
that's-
all right. I couldn't get my letters up fast enough on my charger.
These are just amending the budgets. Ms. Massey, you can bail me out if you like, but they're amending the budgets and taking out the money that we had from the casino.
Casino, okay.
Sure, yes. So I'll just go through them real quick. Item C is me asking for a little more money for the finance telephone expenditure line. With COVID, we had to get a few city cell phones so that employees could answer the main lines from home. So that's just asking for an increase there. Of course, the extra money has already been reimbursed through the local cures program. So that's where that increase will come from. Sidebar on the local cures program. I just wanted to let you guys know, since we didn't have public services, I submitted my last reimbursement request today of almost $300,000. Already $1 million has been processed and approved, and about $1 million has already been deposited into our bank account. So I just wanted to give you an update that I just submitted the last request today, and we should see that in the next couple weeks. Resolution 12D is me asking for the council's permission to make an early loan payment on our excavator loan. This is something the leadership team has been discussing for a couple months now that we think would be a good idea. We have the funds set aside. It's a scheduled payment. We're just making it 5 months early, and we expect to save a little over $4,000 in interest. So we just thought it would make sense. That's demoing a couple garages or maybe even a house. So, and then item 12E is a big, sorry, was there a question on 12D?
Yes, Alderman Strebe, I had a question. Will this pretty much pay this piece of equipment off?
That's the last payment. It'll be done.
Okay, thank you.
All right. And then resolution 12E, this is kind of a big one. So there's two things happening in this resolution. I was doing my mid-fiscal year review of the city budget as a whole, and I thought it was a good time to take the casino tax out of the budget now that we're far enough in and it's kind of clear that that probably won't happen. So I wanted to remove the casino tax. That flows through to 3 different funds, Fund 98, Fund 99, and Fund 302. So that was removing those. It's showing that we'll need to increase both Fund 98, the fire pension, and Fund 99, police pension, with additional funds. And I'm adding a general fund transfer into those funds to meet our statutory minimum for pension payments. It is just decreasing Fund 302. So without that casino money coming in, there's expenses that can't go out. So I worked with Carl and Mayor on that, and we decreased some expenditure lines to remove it there. The other item that's in here is I also evaluated the cannabis tax. As you guys know, we're a few months into receiving our 3% retailer's occupation tax, cannabis tax, and we're very pleased with the funds that are coming in. I think we're going to exceed our original $300,000 that were budgeted for the year. And they were set up for 2/3 of the cannabis money to go into Fund 310. After looking at it, it's my recommendation that 310 isn't really the fund that probably needs it the most. 310 is really healthy with home rule tax that also goes into that fund. So I thought it's just a suggestion to move it to 302 and also make some early loan payments out of 302, which that leads into the next resolution, which is 12F, which I don't know if we're voting on these together, but I'll just explain it now. I'm asking for that cannabis money that's moved to 302. I'm then asking for your permission to make 2 early loan payments on the fire truck refurbishment. And that would be we could pay off the fire truck 2 years early and save, I'm thinking, over $14,000 in interest. So, are there any follow-up questions to that?
Alderman
I don't
Strebe,
have, I'm sorry, go ahead, Rick.
So this isn't going to cause us any problems down the way with using this money. I mean, I know it's new to everybody, but we've got approval more or less to use it however we want.
The cannabis funds, correct?
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Alderman
I just have
Brown.
a comment, Comptroller Massey. I like the way the report is detailed and easy review. For me, it doesn't lead to a lot of misunderstanding, a lot of questions. I just like to commend this report, and I think it's making wise choices in this report for the cannabis, and then the paying out early of the loan. So just job well done.
Thank you very much.
I'd like
Are there
to make
any
a
other
comment.
questions?
Yes, I'd just like to make a comment. I was in there and talked to him today, to the mayor and to our comptroller. And because I was worried about taking the funds out of the 310, because, I hate to see us lose money about tearing down homes. But I was assured that we do have plenty of money, and I'd also talked to Carl, that it will not hurt us on tearing down homes, that we have plenty of money to tear down the homes we need to tear down in that year. So yes, I will be voting for this.
Thank you, Alderman Pickering. Chairman Poor.
Muted.
Chairman, you're muted.
I can hear you, Mike.
My wife would wish that sometimes.
There you go.
But anyway, would you like to, Chairman McMahon, would you like to add F into your original C, D, and E?
Well, that's what I was just thinking. I think we could amend that and add F also, since Ms. Massey's already explained to us what that's for, and it just kind of goes with all of the rest of the budget amendments there. So yes, I would like to do that. Can we?
Alderman Strebe, do you support that amendment?
Sure, I do.
Okay, very good.
Okay, so we will be voting on items C through F if nobody has any questions.
I have no questions, but I want to thank Ashlyn for all her hard work in doing all this. I really, over the years, I don't think we've seen anything like this when we're into the budget as far as we are. Number one, getting the taxes and the what we've got to play with for next year on our budget, and all this coming, and then she's found time to go in and find ways to save extra money. I want to thank you very much, Ashley.
Thank you.
I would agree. And, that's between the two of those, you're talking probably close to $20,000. So yes, very good job, Ashlyn. Thank you much.
Thank you.
Yes, I appreciate the way this is all being laid out. It helps me to understand it a lot better.
Exactly.
I can follow along and understand what's going on. I appreciate that. Ashley's doing a wonderful job.
Thank you.
You all are too kind. Thank you.
And definitely thank you for turning the payables upright.
Well, actually, I think that was Lisa in the way she photocopied it. I cannot take credit for that. That was all Miss Monson, I'm pretty sure.
No, thank you, Lisa.
I wish I could take the credit, but I cannot.
I think it's the first time I didn't get a crick in my neck trying to read it, because I always screwed up when I try to rotate it.
We'll have to make sure we do it that way moving forward too. So we'll find out whoever made the final copy, and we'll make sure that they get it straight. So
They got a new job. They just didn't know it.
All right. So are there any more questions?
Roll call,
Okay,
Madam
being no more
Clerk.
questions, roll call vote?
Chairman McMahon,
Yes.
Alderman Brown,
Yes.
Davis, Dungeon, Bouchard,
Yes.
Stone,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Proya,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Strebe,
Yes.
4,
Yes.
11 yes.
11 yes, the motion carries.
Thank you very much. And item G is an ordinance amending chapter 116 of the city code pertaining to taxation. I will entertain a motion to approve.
Alderman
So moved.
Strebe.
Brown second.
Okay, any questions?
Yes, I have one. It's not so much a question as comments, I guess. I know that the idea behind it is that the storm and sewer fund shouldn't be funded by anything except money it generates, and that's why you're trying to move out of the home rule sales tax where it has been going for a while. I think that we should leave it in the storm and sewer fund right now, and maybe reduce some of the amount that we need in the new levy that we have coming up in October. I know it's been discussed before, and the mayor thinks it's wiser to use it elsewhere, and it really shouldn't be in there, but I think we've had it in there for a couple of years, and we should leave it in there.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I would just comment that legally, in discussing this with our former council, Motley, he said that legally, because it's set up as an enterprise fund, we should not be using and commingling outside funds for it, that it should be, the services should pay for the fees should pay for the services and the materials needed under that. So I understand your concern, your desire, Vice Mayor, and I would like to support it. I don't think that it's rightful or legal to do so, but I understand your point.
Well, Mayor, this is Alderman Strebe. I got a couple questions.
Yes, sir.
Number one, we got audited before. Did this not come up as a problem child, or no flags come up? Ashlyn?
Sure. So yes, we get audited annually, and those are financial statement audits. And the purpose of a financial statement audit is to make sure that your financial statements accurately represent the financial activities of the entity. So not every year's audit is necessarily a fraud audit. It's just to say, do your processes, do your controls, does your balance sheet, does it accurately represent your financial state? That's what they're looking for. So
Okay. So
our determination on what we do with our funds is ours. It's just, is it done well? Is it done with controls? Is it done accurately? So, sorry, go ahead.
I understand, because we got the audit printout. I don't remember seeing anything on that trying to separate it out, which we may hear about it next year or the year after. They dive into some of that stuff a little bit later on, but I'm glad that we're going to try to get this straightened out.
Yeah, I would like to highlight a couple things. Alderman Iverson mentioned, the levies. The levy's been approved and the levy's been filed. It's been filed with the county clerk. The funds, as far as our budget for next year for 402, the budget's been approved and the budget's been filed. If we didn't pass this home rule ordinance, which we've been discussing throughout the entire budget process, I would have to redo the parts of the budget, and we'd have to redo the ordinance for sewer rates that we already passed. Like this ordinance is just a formality to follow the other things that council's already passed.
Okay, thank you. My second question is, I can't remember now if it was last year or 2019. I was thinking it was last year. We took the $200,000 out of the sewer funds. Was that ever paid back? Do you remember that, Mayor?
Loan to DMT.
Yes.
Yes, there was a loan. It was a 2-part loan. 402 and 405 both gave, I believe it's $250,000 to Danville Mass Transit for a temporary loan due to delay in payments from the state. If that's right. I wasn't here when it happened, but
Yeah,
No,
I'm
that is
not-
not yet.
That hasn't been paid back yet?
It has not yet, and that's something we're working towards.
Okay, because that was in this year, 1920 budget.
I would
it's
have to
been a
double
while.
check, but it was before I was here that
Okay,
that occurred.
Because I know that's going to come and hit us come May. We're going to have to pay that back, so, or get it paid back. Otherwise, it's going to cause problems down the way, so.
Well, Alderman Streaming, what I think, are you talking about how we decided to use $200,000 towards other salaries? We used it to help we paid more of the comptroller's salary out of the fund, more of certain individuals who did work for that fund. We paid that out of their funds. Do you mean that, or do you mean the loans to the Danville Mass Transit from a couple of years ago?
Well, I'm just looking at the $200,000 just stuck in my head, and I couldn't remember about the loans because, I know we can do what you really weren't supposed to do some of that stuff, but we did. But I just want to make sure that we're looking at getting the $200,000 back from transportation and everything. So that's all.
Yes, sir. Those were done a couple of years ago, even before my time. Those loans are made, and comptroller has been working to get those repaid. And so I hope that we'll be able to have that done by the end of this calendar year at the latest. So.
Okay, because I don't want it to come back and on us as an audit finding, and when they find something like that, they're going to dig in deeper at other things. Not that I know that they're going to find any problems, but
right.
That's everybody in trouble.
Yeah.
Alderman Pickering, did you have a question?
No, is my hand still up?
Yes,
Sorry.
ma'am. It's okay. Any further questions? Any further discussion or debate? Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Pashard,
Yes.
Stone,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Trolia,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Iverson,
No.
Streeting,
yes.
Ford,
Yes.
McMahon,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
10 yes.
10 yes, the motion carries.
And that would conclude our report, except that we will meet again via City of Danville TV on Tuesday, the 26th of January.
Thank you, Chairman. Good job, first run. Good.
Thanks for your help.
No problem. You've got this. You've got this. At this time, items 13, item 13A is items of information, COVID-19 update and discussion on pandemic. This was requested by Alderman Dungeon, but he's not here. Is there anyone else who wishes to make a comment or at this time?
Yes.
Yes, Vice Mayor.
The last time we had this discussion, I was silent, and those of you who know me well know that that's unusual for me. It's just one of those issues that I can see both sides clearly. My opinion sort of changed recently. This Sunday, I was a liturgist for the online worship of my church. In one of the prayers, I read a list of members of the church family that have recently been infected by COVID-19. The list was too long, and several more cases have come up since that Sunday. Vermilion County was only lightly touched in the early days of the pandemic. Unfortunately, that's no longer true. Just got another note today from Doug Toole about the new numbers. They are starting vaccination clinics. They have started those, so there is hope. But there's hundreds of new cases each week. And the number of deaths is also climbing. People keep asking, is there something the city can do to help slow down the virus? I don't really know. We could pass a city mask mandate. I'm not sure that would help because businesses, medical facilities, agencies, restaurants already have on their door that you have to wear a mask to go in. And there's a statewide mandate. So would there be an advantage having a city one as well? What would the punishment be? Who would enforce it? People have said all along they have the freedom not to wear a mask if they choose not to. But your freedom only goes as far as my nose. If you are infecting other people, you don't have that freedom. You don't have the freedom to cause illness to other people, cause pain and suffering. And governments have the right to protect the health of the public. So what about the much discussed indoor dining ban? That's a statewide ban again. but enforcement's largely up to the state police, and they don't have the ability to go to all the restaurants and bars around the state. I know in some counties, the enforcement's been done mainly by health departments, but I'm not sure if Vermilion County has that regulatory power to do that. And even if they did, the health department personnel, as we've said, are way too busy with contact tracing of COVID cases. And now they're setting up the vaccination clinics, so they have much too much to do now already. The mayor could suspend health permits and some liquor licenses, I think, from non-compliant businesses. I think Danville's at the point in the pandemic where that should be done. I know he's expressed reluctance to do that. Perhaps the city could help restaurants find and build heated outdoor facilities like little igloos or something to help them so they can still stay in business. The mayor's asked the question before for those who seek the enforcement, whether they'd be willing to support the families that lose their jobs. I think at this point, the question also is, are you willing to support the cost of expanded healthcare? Are you willing to support the families who lose their jobs because they couldn't work any longer because of their sickness? Are you willing to help with the expenses of those who are caring for a sick relative and the expense of a funeral? People have said that the state mandates are only suggestions. That's wrong. Courts have ruled several times now that the governor has the power to set such regulations. Those who are not in compliance are simply breaking the law. So I hope people begin realizing that some degree of ending the pandemic is up to them. It's up to each of us, individuals. Please, local restaurants, limit yourself to takeout dining. People who choose to dine inside a restaurant should then keep themselves away from other functions where they can infect others. If you choose to go to a bar, then choose not to infect someone's grandparents afterwards. Don't go around other people. I urge people to love their fellow man, as the mayor has said many times now. Wear your masks, do social distancing, wash your hands, do disinfectants. Maybe we'll come out of this quickly. God, I hope so. But I think we should see if there's something more the city can do. At least maybe encourage the businesses, write to them and say, you're really in violation and you should be more careful of that. I'm more than willing to hear any suggestions anybody else has. I think we've come to the point where this is sadly a pandemic that's hitting Danville more than we had ever thought it would. And I'm just frustrated that there isn't something more I can do about it.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. A couple of comments based on what you said. Number one, the vast majority of the new cases that we're having are from one source, and that's the prison. God bless those folks because they deserve to be safe too, just like all of us do. But the vast majority of the increases that we have are from there. It's not that you're having from general public. And as was previously noted, the CDC has said that 1.5% have come from dining in restaurants. It's that people are getting together instead of going out, they're getting together in private homes. They're having big parties, they're having big gatherings. I personally don't see what the difference is between having heated outdoor dining and indoor dining. It seems to be roughly the same to me. I also would just like to clarify, while I do have the power to revoke liquor permits, I do not control the health permits at all. Those are solely the power of Vermilion County, so I don't have any enforcement powers there. So that's all I have to offer at this time. Are there any other comments or discussion or debate? Alderman Brown.
Mayor, I would just like to, for us as a council to consider, just a thought, where do we go from here? Listening to the news, I think, as all of us had that it's a possibility that this second strain of this could get to Danville. We were hoping, at one point, Danville was unique, and I think I mentioned that in one of the meetings earlier in the year 2020. But as Vice Mayor Iverson says, that's no more. I'd like for us to be unique. So what do we do to move forward? We can't do anything about the past. Can we move forward and some things that we could do for our city and think about if this second strain hits Danville? Where do we go from there? What do we do? Do we continue to follow the CDC guidelines and what our governor is asking, or I just think those are some things we need to to maybe think about. I know I certainly have, but again, just food for thought.
Thank you, Alderman Brown.
Hey, Mayor,
Yes.
I just think we have to, the mayor's right. We had 600 cases at the prison. We've had some at the hospitals. We've had some in the nursing homes. Those are the people that are being hit the hardest. So again, we have to protect each other. When you go out, wear your mask. I'm out every day. I'm out every day. I'm out somewhere. I'm either in the grocery store, I go to Menards, I go to Lowe's, I go out to eat, I make sure I wear my mask, and we all have to do that. We all have to wear a mask. We all have to social distance. Don't be on top of people when you talk to people, and stay in your circles. I think that's part of the problem too. If I go out to eat, I come home and I'm in my home with who lives around me. It's gathering with people outside your circle where you don't know where they've been. And I think that's a lot of the problem. But yeah, you have to protect your own people too. Wear your mask when you go out so that you don't bring it home to your people and they take it to somebody else. That's really all you can do. California and New York have the largest cases, and they're still having the largest cases, and they're the people that are locked down. So it doesn't help to lock people down. People just have to be vigilant in protecting themselves and protecting their loved ones. And if we can keep telling people to wear your mask, wash your hands, don't touch your face, and keep your distance from people, and there's no need to gather now. The holidays are over. So stay within your circles.
Thank you, Chairman. Vice Mayor, did you have another comment?
Yes, I'm just agreeing with Alderman McMahon in that the private gatherings are one of the main concerns now. And it doesn't have to be, we always think of these big family gatherings. It doesn't have to be a big gathering. 4 or 5 or 6 people getting together. You think that all of them are in your bubble, but maybe one of them has gone somewhere and, caught something. So you need to be aware, even with people you know and love, you may need to wear those masks. And also, I just looked up on the phone because Doug Toole sends me daily reports on the pandemic that, yes, it is true that the prison has been the largest recent outbreak, but we tend to think of the prison as the inmates. There's also been 136 staff members who have had the corona up there, and those are just regular Danville citizens who come back into the community because they live here. And so, it's just as concerning that it's from the prison as it is from any other part of the city. And I agree with Mrs. Brown. I don't know what it is we need to do, but I just feel that God wants us to do something. I just wish I knew what it was.
Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Mayor?
That's it. Yes, Alderman Brown.
I listened to Vice Mayor Iverson, and it was something that he said about letters. I don't know if letters could go out to the businesses about a warning of this second strain and ask them to enforce the mask required in the stores, because I'm like Sharon, I'm out, but I always have a mask on. But there are a lot of people that are in the stores that do not have their mask on. And I've seen them at one particular store, food market, the clerk asked her to put it on, and they simply refuse. So they don't try. But I thought maybe if a letter would go out from the city saying, we asked that you try to enforce, the managers enforce people when the customers come in, please have a mask on. I think it would help maybe hold this maybe second strain coming in if we follow that. Sure, some of us wear a mask, some of us don't. So if we could do that to encourage the management, to encourage people and the customers coming into the store to do that.
Thank you, Alderman Brown. So just so you'll know, I have been in contact with both the managers of Menards, who did have a strong mask requirement early on, as well as Walmart, who also did. And what they said to me was, Mayor, even when we had people at the door with masks, requiring people to have masks or giving them masks, you had a select few who absolutely wouldn't put it on no matter what. So that would have only left their only choice to be to call the law. Then the bigger problem that they told me that they had, though, was when folks wear their masks in the store, but then once coming in, but then as soon as they get in, they take it down or they take it off or they wear it improperly. And they said they just didn't have enough people to go around and following people to make sure that they were putting on their masks and stuff like that. Those are the problems they had. And they also said that they had some people who got irate and like threatened violence or, cursing and going off on people. And the last thing I would hate to see is somebody get hurt over trying, making $10 an hour to try to force somebody who's decided in their mind they're not going to do it to wear a mask. So, people will say, well, why don't you find the businesses? Well, that's why, because you have businesses. I mean, think about it. I don't know if any of you all went to Menards for the first probably 5 to 6 months of this pandemic, but you did not get in there if you did not have a mask on. But sure enough, walking around in there, most people kept their masks on, but a lot of folks didn't. They had them all kinds of ways. And Walmart is just absurd. I can't believe it. Even the employees there, a lot of times I see without having their mask on. And I did confront the manager about that because I told him that that's an absolute minimum. Your employees absolutely must have their mask on. You can't control that.
And that's why I think maybe if a letter would go out again, it doesn't hurt to send a second letter to say, that you recognize that they have these problems, but the concern, again, for the health of the citizens, if at all possible, if they could still encourage their employees and customers to wear the masks.
Thank you, Alderman Brown. That's a good suggestion. Any further discussion or debate? Okay, thank you. Seeing none, are there any other items of information for the good of the cause? Alderman Pickering. Oh, you were there and then you went away.
I'm sorry, yes. Well, it was back on the other one. Nancy O'Kane's suggestions about the toters. Is there some way we could do something about that? Because that is a problem.
Director Carpenter, are you still with us, sir?
Yes, I am. I will tell you what we've done in the past. It takes a minimum of 2 people, and in the past, it's always been Tracy and myself in 2 separate trucks, and you drive around town and you start tagging everything. We have no authority to enforce it. That has to come through code enforcement after. And so then if we drive back by and see the tag either missing or the same problem occurring, then we have to call code enforcement, and then they're going to have to go out and check it. As far as a recommendation that auxiliaries do it, you give me the money to hire 2 to 4 auxiliaries to do that all year long, and I don't have any problem enforcing it that way. But to expect us to do it with the personnel we currently have it just cannot be done. There are other cities that try to do this. When we rolled this program out years ago, we went to Davenport, Iowa, and watched them. And if you go in the higher end neighborhoods and you put a tag on somebody, most of the time they adhere to it. But you go out into areas like my end of town and you tag somebody, most of those people are renters or they just don't care, and you end up trying to take them to court over it. And at some point in time, is that more important than, is it more important for them to take their trash can back to the house or to spend $200,000 trying to get them to take it back to the house? It just comes out as a wash in the end. There's no simple answer for this. It boils down to our society we live in. People don't care. And those that do have to pay the price of looking at those that don't. Like I say, if somebody can come up with money for more people to hire, I'm more than glad to do it. But to expect Tracy and I to run around and do it all day, and or the 3 code enforcement personnel we have, we have far greater issues than just garbage toters and some loose trash floating around. No.
Well, I think one of her suggestions was the gentleman who collect the garbage. If they just couldn't like jot down the address or somehow put the address down and like she said, you would just they could mail something to that person and tell them they're in violation. If they don't correct it, they will be in violation. Is there some way we could do that?
That's the code.
We can do that again. We have done that in the past. Again, I want you to remind you that those garbage trucks are picking up roughly 820 stops per day. And if you go anywhere east of Bowman Avenue and have them start doing that, it's going to be awfully hard to get your garbage picked up in one day in the 8-hour time that we have to do it. There's no simple answer to this.
Right.
You know, we dealt with this when trash was in the alleys. It was a constant problem. We thought that putting it out in the front would help solve some of that. It may have solved a little bit of it, but it's the same people week in and week out. And I'm pretty sure you could stick some of them in jail for it. And as soon as they got out, they go right back to doing the same thing.
I'm sure.
I'm tired of seeing it because I live further east than the aldermans live.
Right.
And it's a little worse where I live than where they live. But outside of going out and doing your job and picking up what's out in front of your house and hoping that they see that and some of that rubs off on them, or saying something to them when you see them do it, there is no other simple, easy answer for it. Yeah, we can spend our money and I'd have no objections to doing that. But I want all 14 aldermen and the mayor to understand that it takes personnel and money to do what needs to be done. And that has to be found somewhere.
Well, and we know we have the violators, the ones that do it all the time. So is there any way we could, start off with them first? I mean, there just has to be something done because it is awful and in our area. So.
Well, I think the biggest thing, Alderman Pickering, would be, it's not just our responsibility to do that. It's every citizen. If you've got a neighbor that's doing that, then it needs to be reported. And okay, I know some of us report it and then nothing happens. Well, once again, what's the recourse? We have to have the inspectors go out there. They notice them up, and then they have a protocol they have to follow that's 3 to 5 days, and then they have to go back. If they haven't moved it, then they have to write them up. And then if that hasn't taken care of it, then they have to give them a notice to appear in court. And then a day court lawyer acting as a judge tells them, oh, well, you have to do that or I'm going to fine you. Okay, well, I'm going to do it. And what do you know? 2 weeks later, they're doing the same thing again. It's a never-ending battle. It's always going to be. Like I say, the only answer to it is more people and pouring more money at the problem. There is no simple, it's going to disappear overnight issue.
Well, one more thing. Is there any way landlords are responsible for that?
All homeowners and all property owners are responsible for it, but as well as the tenants. Every citizen in Danville is responsible for it.
Thank you.
There are ordinances state, what your responsibilities are, but we know how that works.
Director Carpenter, this is Alderman Strabing. Are you repairing very many of the trash containers?
Yeah,
the tops?
we constantly order new lids for whatever we need, and
just driving around town, I see a lot of them with broken lids and everything. I just don't know.
Alderman Stream, the drivers do call those in. When we pass one up that's got a broken lid, then it comes into Tracy and I, and we'll go out and repair it. Sometimes the people grab it and get it back before, we cannot go up on their property we can only do that 4 or 5 feet off the curb line. They've taken it back up to their house. What we try to do is just leave the note that we've got it, and then go back the next week when they've put their garbage out and get it put on before the truck gets there.
Yeah.
And people normally call it in when they've got a lid missing, but there again, some of them,
No, they just
they
don't
don't
care.
care.
I
Yeah.
understand. I understand.
That's why, you know, we have an ordinance that says all garbage must be in a bag inside the container.
True.
And then people want to call and complain when we dump the toter that garbage flew all over the place and our guy should have got out and chased it all down. Well, again, you know, we don't have the time or personnel to chase all the garbage down. We don't like to see that happen. And if it's a big spill, we will.
But I do know your drivers do, because I was out not this week, I think it was last week, and I actually watched one of the guys get out of the truck because a lot of it flew out, and he did take the time to pick it up. So
they make
just
the
didn't.
effort. Yeah.
I just didn't know if we were not getting a lot of people calling and requesting repairs, or if you were, you know, if you're getting on a regular basis. I just wanted to say, you know, maybe you could put something in the newspaper about telling them that, you know, if they got a broken lid or something, that, I mean, it's been a while. I don't think a lot of people realize it. They can get them fixed.
Yeah. And we do try to put at least once a year the note on the billing that, you know, the call with toter lid repairs. You know, we just notified everybody late last fall that the original toters we delivered were now out of warranty and they'd have to pay. And we've sold a lot of toters again. Well, I'm going to have to come back to y'all and get an order for some more, probably in next month or in March. We still continue to sell them, and those that are under warranty get replaced. As far as lids, I would fair to say probably 3 a day get called into terror.
I can't hear you.
So.
Okay. Well, thank you, Director.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Also, this Alderman Pashard, so any tote that needs to be repaired, that's on the homeowner. Is that correct? You will do it, but they're billed for it?
No, they're not billed for it. Lids are all replaced free. If a toter is out of warranty and, you know, it's become out of service and a hole in it and cracked and everything else, and that's only the original ones that we distributed in 2007 at this point, those are no longer under warranty, but the lids are still replaceable.
Okay.
We cannot afford to continue in perpetuity to give everybody a free toter when we're paying $50-some to a piece for the toters. We would have to charge $50 a month for garbage collection at that rate if we were going to give everybody a free toter every year.
Okay, thank you.
Alderman O'Kane, you've been patiently waiting.
Well, 3 little points. First off, didn't we have a discussion that the sewer district is not going to do our billing in the future? And I would hope that with that idea in place, that we do set up a way to communicate with our citizens better than that little bitty thing that was been in the past. Something that every citizen will get in their monthly statement, so that we can tell them what's going on, tell them that they can go get their toter lid fixed, tell them what the rules are. In fact, to me, we ought to have a special effort this spring when the weather's better, just to go around and get, I know in my area, it seems like every other tote has got a missing lid. I know it's hard to catch up to the people. They put them, some of them put them back, some of them don't. And you can't fix the lid when they got the garbage hanging 3 feet out the top of the tote. But it needs to be done. And then in inspections, I fought with inspectors 2 or 3 years ago when their boss told them to leave the toters alone. That's not a high priority. We don't need to bother people with that. So we let people do things, little things, and they just keep on making it bigger and bigger. You know, we can't leave those little things alone.
I can assure you that's not continuing anymore.
Well, I hope it's not continued, but it was, because I had a debate on that, and it just, you know, I couldn't do anything about it because I'm not the boss. I don't run the thing, but it just doesn't make sense when you tell somebody to leave a small thing alone, and then the next week another one and another one and another one, toter sitting out, not put back, the garbage hanging out of it, and the little things. You take care of the little things, the people will realize they got to take care of the little things and the big things. That's
I
all
agree
I've got.
with you. Anything else, Alderman O'Kane?
No.
Okay, thank you. Alderman Trolia.
Yeah, I didn't know that. My suggestion was going to be we still continue to replace the lids, even if out of warranty, but I was not aware that they still are replacing the lids. I thought that was a warranty thing.
No,
So,
it never
Carl,
has
we
been.
can do what?
It never has been a warranty thing. We've always replaced lids.
Well, yeah, I'll call a lot of them in then. I just thought you had to replace the whole toter now, but I didn't.
Yeah,
I was not aware of
and
that.
I'm sure you probably would have an extensive list. It'd be
Well, yeah, I
better instead
would.
of
I thought you had to replace the whole toter, though.
No, instead of
And why
trying to
didn't
call, instead of trying to call all that in, just make us a list and email it to me, and we'll get your whole group taken care of. We
Yeah,
would
because
probably have to
both of mine
order.
broke at my own house. I mean, I'm assuming, it's something with like it. I mean, because they both broke at my own house, and they came out and replaced the lids on those. But yeah, I thought that was over with the warranty, but you answered my question a while ago. So, all right, thank you.
Thank you. Engineer Cole.
Well, this isn't very engineering. I don't want to step on anybody's toes, but I would think the good old fashioned approach of be a good neighbor would be the first place to start. If people would think about the amount of resources it ties up for city and taxpayer dollars to call people to enforce this stuff versus just help somebody take their can in or place a call themselves to Public Works to tell them about the issue, that would save everybody a lot of time and would get a lot of things done quicker without tying up taxpayer resources. So that was just my suggestion. It's probably, if it were me, I'd just walk over to my neighbor's can and take it back up to their house for them or call it in or whatever, and be a good neighbor, rather than cause them a bunch of problems. So I think that's where we need to focus on being the smallest, kindest community we can be that has big city resources. And that's kind of old fashioned, but I think in most cases that tends to work.
And Sam, you are exactly right, but it's hard to do when you have 12 on your street that you'd have to do that too.
Right. Yeah. Well, and
But
Carl,
you're
you were
exactly
saying,
right. I agree.
But I think Carl was saying you can send him the list of the addresses, right? And they can replace the lids.
That's correct.
Right. I'm talking about
Putting the can back up. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Understood.
But I will send a list. Okay. We'll do that.
Well, see, my whole thing on all this was because just like Aaron, he didn't realize that they would replace the lids, and how many other people don't realize that? So,
my atlas, the world's on my shirt.
This is one of the reasons, ladies and gentlemen, why we really need communications or community relations administrator. If we ever get to the point where we're a little financially more viable, it's after we get Comptroller Massey some assistance with grant management, that would be probably the next thing that I think we need to focus on. Because I think even just telling the story of Danville, I try to cheerlead as much as I can on Facebook, but not everyone has Facebook. Not everybody follows me, and so I think having people to share information with the city constantly with our citizens would be a great thing. Alderman Streaming, you're on the right track there. Any other items of information for the good of the cause? Seeing none, we do not have any need for closed session, thankfully. So at this time, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned. Happy New Year, everyone. It was good to see y'all again.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Stay safe, everyone.